Today, we journey back more than 2,700 years to the ancient city of Babylon during its turbulent rule under the mighty Assyrian Empire. It's a tale of power, rebellion, ambition, and survival, a period that shaped the political landscape of Mesopotamia and left a legacy written in clay tablets and carved into history. In the 9th century BCE, Babylon was a jewel of Mesopotamian civilization, famed for its cultural achievements, legal traditions, and towering ziggurats. But by the time the Assyrians expanded their influence, Babylon's political autonomy was under threat. The Assyrian Empire, centered in the northern cities of Ashur and Nineveh, was a formidable force, renowned for its military might and administrative prowess. For the Babylonians, the arrival of the Assyrians signaled a new chapter, one fraught with tension, upheaval, and transformation. The story begins with Assyrian king Adad-nirari III, who ruled in the 9th century BCE. Under Adad-nirari, Assyria's military campaigns pushed southward, enforcing control over the broader Mesopotamian region. Babylon, though independent in name, soon found itself under the shadow of Assyrian dominance. Assyrian kings demanded tributes from Babylon and exerted influence over its rulers. While Adad-nirari's reign inaugurated Babylon's subjugation, the relationship between the two powers was complex, part imperial control, part uneasy partnership. But Babylon was not easily subdued. Known as a city of intellectual and spiritual resilience, its leaders sought ways to assert autonomy. During this period, Babylon turned to diplomacy, leveraging its religious significance as the home of Marduk, the supreme god of Mesopotamia. Assyrian kings understood the importance of Babylon's temples and the role they played in legitimizing their rule. To maintain stability, Assyrian rulers often performed Babylonian religious rituals, presenting themselves as guardians of Babylon's cultural heritage. Fast forward to the reign of Tiglath-Pileser III in the 8th century BCE. Tiglath-Pileser was a military innovator, introducing reforms that strengthened the Assyrian army's effectiveness. His campaigns expanded Assyrian control across the Near East, and Babylon fell firmly under his grip. Tiglath-Pileser took the bold step of directly proclaiming himself king of Babylon, a move that symbolized the fusion of Assyrian and Babylonian rule, but also sowed seeds of discontent among the Babylonian elite. After Tiglath-Pileser's death, the strained relationship between Babylon and Assyria unraveled further. The Assyrian response was swift and brutal. Sargon II, one of Assyria's most formidable kings, marched south to reclaim control of Babylon. In 710 BCE, Sargon crushed Merodach-Baladan's forces, retaking the city. Sargon, like Tiglath-Pileser before him, proclaimed himself king of Babylon, but his reign there was tumultuous. While Sargon invested resources into stabilizing Babylon, conflicts between the Assyrian administration and local Babylonian elites persisted. Enter Sennacherib, Sargon II's successor, and one of the most infamous figures in this saga. Sennacherib's reign oversaw significant military campaigns against Babylon, but his relationship with the city proved disastrous. In 689 BCE, following a series of uprisings, Sennacherib made a shocking decision. He ravaged Babylon, destroying its temples and cultural landmarks. This act of devastation sent shockwaves through the ancient world, as even many Assyrians viewed Babylon's desecration as sacrilegious. Sennacherib's destruction of Babylon marked a turning point. It ignited widespread dissent and tarnished his legacy. After his assassination in 681 BCE, his successor Esarhaddon adopted a radically different approach. Esarhaddon sought to rebuild Babylon and restore its temples, understanding the city's importance not only as a cultural and religious center, but also as a key to maintaining regional stability. Esarhaddon's policies reflected an attempt to reconcile Assyrian imperial ambitions with Babylonian heritage. The final act of this story brings us to Ashurbanipal, the last great king of Assyria. Ashurbanipal is remembered for his intellectual pursuits, particularly the creation of the royal library at Nineveh. But the latter years of his reign were marked by escalating tensions with Babylon. As the Assyrian Empire began to decline in the late 7th century BCE, Babylon saw an opportunity to reclaim independence. It was during this period that Babylonian leaders, including Nabopolassar, laid the groundwork for what would become the Neo-Babylonian Empire. By 626 BCE, under Nabopolassar's leadership, Babylon successfully broke away from Assyrian control. This event marked the end of nearly 2 centuries of Assyrian domination. The Neo-Babylonian Empire would go on to achieve unprecedented cultural and political heights, but its rise came on the ashes of Assyria's decline, a decline hastened by the very struggles that once bound the two powers together. So, what does this chapter in history teach us? Babylon under Assyrian rule was a microcosm of larger themes: how empires rise and fall, how cultures resist oppression, and how the interplay between power and identity shapes the fate of civilizations. For Babylon, the Assyrian period was one of upheaval, but it was also a time of resilience. The city endured, adapting to foreign rule, and eventually reclaiming its place as one of history's most influential centers of power and culture. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the ancient world. The story of Babylon and Assyria reminds us that history is not just about conquest and kings. It's about the voices of resistance, the pursuit of balance, and the enduring spirit of human ingenuity. Stay curious, and see you next time.
Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.